Hey guys, we're back in the shop again, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to go through my entire pack-out stack, at least for the most part, because I just unloaded all of this out of my truck and into the garage where I have better lighting and there's more space for me to be able to go through this stuff. So what we're going to do is start with the accessories that I have on my rolling stack right now, and then I'm going to unstack each box onto this so that I can give you an in-depth view inside with my organization and the power tools that I keep in these boxes. So let's start off with the 15-inch pack-out bag. What I use that for is all of my PPE in here. Got my vests, that new good-looking Klein carbon helmet. I have earmuffs in there, knee pads, some demolition gloves, things like that. On the outside of it, I have my S-Wing. I think this is like the 15-inch or something, maybe 17-inch wrecker bar, just because that won't fit in any of my boxes right now, the way that I have things set up. So that's on there. Actually, we'll go into this next. This is my Bosch 18-volt battery caddy, is what I call it. It also works as a charging station. And then I have my 18-volt work light on here as well. That came in really handy, being able to have all my batteries in one place and that work light easily accessible on the renovation project I was just working on. On the side, I always try to keep easily accessible my compact organizer that I turned into a first aid kit. So you're going to see a lot of these 3D printed latches. This really helps you identify what's in each box. I'm not going to go through all the contents of this, but you can see I have things labeled with a label maker and fairly well organized. This is an excellent use of the compact organizer box, and of course you could use the full size too. So let me pause and we're going to get into the next box. Okay, so the next box that I have is the small organizer. This was actually the first pack-out box that I ever bought. It has the aluminum rails on either corner, which allowed me to mount this level holder from, I think it's Alpha Tools. They're available on Amazon. And I kind of had to modify mine to work with this box, but I think it works really well. Right now I just have a 2-foot level in there. Let's get down and show you what's in here. This is basically what I call my heavy duty driver box. This bin here is full of fasteners as well as some sockets, heavy duty accessories. I throw my M18 tools in here. It's the only box that actually has Milwaukee tools besides my M12 box, but it has everything in here that I could ever use. Since this was my first box, I have tons of stickers on here. I'd love to continue stickering that box up, but that makes a nice home for that stuff. You can see I keep extra batteries and a charger in there. Now we can get into the rolling box here. One thing I did with this is I modified it with the Kaizen crate mount, so I can throw a pack-out crate on the front of this easily. You can also throw a lot of the full-size boxes on the front to carry them. And in here, I have a lot of my Bosch power tools, besides my drills, drivers, SDS, things like that. I do use the caddy in here for blades. I have my circ saw in here, grinder, recip saw, 18-volt recip, the original one, as well as additional blades and things like that. This rolling box is perfect for larger and kind of awkward items. I have my charger mounted up there on the lid. That all stores nicely on there. And now we come to the majority of my pack-out boxes stacked on top of the rolling dolly, one of my favorite pack-out items. And on the top, I have the Worktop. So I'm going to do a quick overview or pan through these so you can see how I have them labeled. One box there is not labeled, but for the majority, I have them labeled, or I have a system where I know what's in them. A lot of these 3D printed latches are from 3D Technologies. He's on Instagram, and some of his stuff I've shown off before in my videos. He makes some excellent products, and he has a variety of stuff for your needs. These work out really good because if you are in this system or other systems, you know that it can be a real problem once you have everything stacked up like this, especially if you can't see the clear lids to know what is actually in the boxes. So what I've done is I've modified the worktop by adding a stealth mounts tape clip here. I have my Vito MP1X hanging on here. This is how I used it a lot at this renovation job, so I was able to keep my main tools in here, which was mainly for electrical work, and grab this and go and do work. I also have the stealth mounts M12 as well as Bosch 12-volt battery holder there. Sometimes I found myself hanging some of my Vito bags off the side of this, but for the most part I had them on the top here, but you do have some nice hanging holes there. So let me get this off of here, and then we're going to start going through these organizer boxes. Okay, so let's go through these one at a time. This is my flex head ratcheting wrench box. This is an organizer that was created by 10 Spot Tools. I have several of his 3D printed organizers in here. They're very well laid out. This gave me a perfect place to keep my entire SAE gear wrench set in here. And sometimes I also will throw my Joker wrenches in here, and it gives me a nice safe place to store those and take them to a job site. Here's another example of the 10 Spot Tools holder in here. This is actually one that you've seen in my truck. I usually keep this in my truck. I've been storing my 3/8 impact sockets from Milwaukee as well as the short sockets from Makita in here. So I need to add metric sets here eventually if I find them on sale. But you can see his organizers are very well laid out. No wasted space. They even give you space for adapters and bits and things like that and extra sockets. That works out really well. I'll show you another insert made by 10 Spot Tools. This is my box for my M18 router. Once again, 3D printed. Hopefully you guys can see that, the contrast since it's black. He gives you a spot for all of your accessories, like your dust attachment there, your wrench. And then he gives you expandable storage for all of your bits. I have some Bosch bits in here right now, and it keeps your router nice and secure here. And if you have this tool, you know it can be kind of hard to store. And so what he has done is made it so that the base plate rides right there in this raised portion of the lid. I actually have a homemade base plate on there right now for myself to make it more compact, but this is a great router. I always enjoy using this thing when I get a chance to bring it out, and this is a great way to organize it. So what I'm going to do is start adding these boxes to my rolling box. So bear with me with the noise, but this is the best way to go through these. The biggest advantage of the Packout system is you can do all that one-handed as long as you can carry the box. Next box, marked drill bits. I believe I got these organizers from Jacob All. He's on YouTube. I have my shockwave bits, the full set organized in here. I was able to fit a full set of the Bosch Daredevil bits, spade bits in here. You just have to watch how you insert them so that they can store easily. And then I have a bunch of carpentry related bits. I have some self-centering drill bits. I have an extension. I have a bunch of my countersink bits in here, as well as a flippable bit there, a metal countersink, and some extra accessories there that go along with woodworking. Next one is just my standard 3/8 socket set and ratchet set. And so what I did a long time ago was I got the Milwaukee 3/8 set that comes with this swivel head ratchet and all the accessories. Great kit. I think I picked it up for like 30 bucks. I cut out a piece of, or a foam insert here for it, and then I added all of the Makita 3/8 shallow sockets, also one of the Makita 1/4 inch socket sets, as well as a little swivel head Titan ratchet and a bunch of accessories. I even hide accessories in the sockets like this Vera bit adapter there that I can throw on my ratchet if I need to. Makes a pretty handy set. Sometimes when you cut the foam out like this, you can customize it and you can really cram a lot of stuff in here and not have wasted space. The next box down here, I have it labeled fasteners. This is the full-size compact organizer. Nothing too fancy in here. Still using a lot of the cups. I also have these mini cups that were printed. I think I got those from Jacob All too. And then some of the regular size cups that were 3D printed for bit holders. So this is just kind of an extra place to keep bits. You'll have to excuse me, it's still pretty chilly out here in the garage. The next box I have labeled is the Bosch 12-volt box. So this ends up being kind of a carpentry related box where I have my brushless Gen 2 FlexiClick in here with all the heads, a bit case. I also have my 12-volt jigsaw with a shockwave case down here that has my jigsaw blades. I have an extra 12-volt light. I have a circle cutter. I left room in this box so I can throw other accessories in here or even throw an extra tool in here if it's small enough. But it's perfectly sized for these kind of tools. Next, I have my box marked M12. Sometimes I keep this box in my truck since I have a lot of my M12 tools in there. If I feel the need to have some of the tools in here, like my fuel sawzall with the 6-amp battery, it's all cut into foam. I threw my old Gen 1 M12 fuel hammer drill in here, as well as a small shockwave bit case in the center. It's perfect for these skinny sawzall blade holders. And you can see I also have space, if I can move this out of the way. I used to keep my M12 light in here that I use all the time, but now I actually just keep it on the tool wall in my truck since it's magnetic. Sorry, trying to do this one-handed. So let me stack some of these boxes off and we're going to get into the bigger tools that I keep in here. Okay, so in the customizable insert box that I have here, which is a smaller hard-lidded Packout box, but it's about the same size as their full-size organizers. I actually have some Bosch 18-volt tools in here that I cut into foam. I have my 18-volt FlexiClick with all the accessories, including the right angle bit holder that you can only get in the European market. I have that stored in here. That really makes that tool. I got this on sale at CPO outlets. Came with a battery and a charger. Great deal. On the other side, I have my I believe it's the Gen 3 Bosch Freak, one of the most powerful ones they've come out with so far. And on that, I've used the Freaks for a long time. And on a lot of these drills, I have the bit mag, bit holders. I have the custom aluminum one on there that I got from a guy on Instagram. And the foam allows me to store an extra battery, the bit case here, and I can just put random bits in here if I need that go along nicely with these tools. Gonna unstack this one. The next case down I have marked as SDS Plus, and this has my 18-volt Bulldog. In here you can see this was one of the only cases that I could fit this tool in. I think it fits really well. This is a pretty large hammer drill. In the center I have Tapcons and all of my SDS bits. This also allowed me to put all of my vacuum accessories. I also have a Tapcon or universal screw installation kit for Tapcons in there that's also from Bosch. They make some of the best accessories. This is a great tool, great value. Just as powerful as the corded Bulldog and much faster than a standard hammer drill. So let me go ahead and unstack this box. Next, I have my 18-volt Bosch Starlock multi-tool in this set. I'll pull this out a little bit. Still one of the best oscillating tools. This is the original brushless 18-volt version. They have a newer one out. Maybe I'll get that one day. I think I got that on sale too. I keep my accessories down there below. You can see in this box, I just used some scrap foam and cut it out, but allowed space for these organizers to sit here. I had to modify them a little bit, but that allows me to keep my sanding pads in there. This one has all my blades in there, which I don't need that many different ones. And then I had room for another 4 amp hour battery in there. The next box that I have was my original M12 box with the custom latches. This was one of the first boxes that I ever cut out an insert for. I used to keep my M12 fuel impact driver in here with a 3 amp hour larger battery. Underneath I had the right angle adapter. I was able to fit some extractor sockets as well as a bunch of other random things. Even had room for another battery. But now that I have the Vito SPMC, I don't really keep the driver in here, although I do keep this bit case in here because it's still a good accessory to have with that driver. I customized it and have pretty much everything I need that goes along with that. Let me just do this. Here's another box that's not labeled yet. This is actually my hole saw kit. So not only do I have the large hole dozer kit from Milwaukee, I also got a set of the carbide hole saws from Spider, which I really like their hole saw arbor almost as much as the Diablo and the Bosch version, which is what I have in here. If you've seen those, they're like the snap lock. I have some metal hole saws in here, the quick eject kind, and an extension. Just trying to make the best use of this case and keep all my hole saws in one place. Now we're going to switch over to the last compact organizer that I have. And you can see I have this marked as my Bosch Blaze kit, but really this is my layout kit, where I have just a simple Bosch 2-plane laser with the mount. I also keep my chalk line in here, a square, some other just layout related tools. I used to keep my nicer Bosch Blaze in here, but I actually keep that in my Vito SPLD now so that it's easily accessible and I can take that on jobs because I had the room. I think I'm going to save the best for last, so let me pause and get these boxes off here. So here I have one more unmarked box, and this is one that I kind of use for different things. But right now I have my sander accessories in here because I had made a custom sander holder in here for my Bosch 18-volt sander. Now I actually just keep it in my garage so that it's handy because I end up using it out here a lot. But recently what I did was I threw my bandsaw and some other odd-shaped tools in here, and it allowed me to transport them to that job that I was just on. Then lastly, I have one more custom box. You can see this says Cinco, so let me know in the comments what you think this is going to end up being. It's probably not what you're expecting, but in here I set up a custom station for my Cinco Duraspin gun. Sorry, the lid's trying to close on me. The 18-volt gun. I actually won this on Instagram. This box allows me to keep both the batteries. I also made a custom charger mount for the lid out of some HDPE that's in like a black color. And then I keep bits and other accessories in here. The only thing I don't store in here usually is the screws, but plenty of room in this box, and it fits this collated screw gun perfectly. So I was super happy about that. So pretty happy about that one as well. I'm proud of that box that I created. Let me show you the stack again. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. If I was actually able to stack all these back boxes on top of the rolling box, it would probably be up above my head. So that's why I like having the rolling dolly as well as the rolling box. The system works out really great for me. I know a lot of people are still in the Packout system. I don't think I'm ever going to leave it, even though I am interested in some other systems that are coming out with innovations. But I hope you guys like this tour. I was trying to keep it kind of brief, but there's a lot to go through with this. So if you like these kind of videos, let me know. Maybe I'll go into more stuff. Let me show you one more thing, actually. I have several crates that I didn't really go through. I kind of use them for all sorts of different things. But on this project, I threw my tool belts, my tool vest, and things like that in there. And I also have one more box that's labeled exterior screws. No sense really going through that one, just labeled. So this has been kind of fun. I hope you guys like these videos. Now I can check this off my list. I finally gave you guys a tour. So excited to show you guys the rest of my organization in the future. So we'll catch you on the next video.